Hello, welcome to Local Anaesthetic Podcast, the most trusted name in local news. My name is Alex, and joining us as always via Skype is Rob. How you doing there, Rob?
Hello, folks. Yes, I'm okay. I'm tired. It's been, I think, with the heat and the fact that it's been a busy time at work. It's been, it's been a long week.
I can hear it in your voice, Robin. It has been blisteringly hot. I mean, thank God. I think kind of now we're at the tail end of that. I mean, it's dying down now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful this weekend. I'm not going to complain. It was very. I think I was very grateful for the heat, if nothing else. But yeah, being in work and obviously trying to get the Central Line home, it hasn't been a pleasant experience.
No. Well, we are recording for the fastidious amongst you all on the 29th of August. This is episode 285. Would you believe? And we've got some cracking local news for you as always, haven't we, Rob? Is there any news before I kick us off?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
Well, I say let's just get on with it. I think we've got a lot to get through this week, Rob. And look, today was it? Yes. I mean, we're not going to be talking about this. I'm just saying, just putting it in context. Well, yesterday was the day that Boris Johnson announced that he was going to prorogue Parliament, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not talking about that, but just as an aside, as a sort of another insight into sort of conservative Britain, this was a cracking story, Rob, from a few days ago, from the 21st of August 2019 on the Huffington Post website. I do just have to read it just to kick us off, just because it was a great story. And it's about the DWP, Rob.
Oh, what a fun organisation to discuss on the podcast.
Yeah. But basically, the story is by Chaminda Jayanetti, and the headline is, DWP advice site lists striptease artist as possible work for universal credit claimants.
Do you know what, Alex? I hate to say this, but nothing the DWP does surprises me anymore. And
no.
I know that Ian Duncan Smith hasn't been involved with the DWP in a long, long time, but I still like to think that he has some sort of hand in their policies, and I can just imagine the DWP getting to a stage where they're just rounding up the homeless and selling them off for meat.
Oh my word!
It's only a matter of time.
Well, yeah, don't give them ideas, Rob. That's all I'm going to say. Right. A government website advising benefit claimants on how to look for jobs suggests people on Universal Credit could find work as striptease artists. The Department for Work and Pensions online tool is designed to help claimants, in quotes, discover roles that match your skills and interests, and suggest search terms to help job seekers find appropriate roles. However, its webpage lists striptease artists alongside such jobs as hotel assistant, lobby attendant and bingo assistant. It suggests the term could be used in your online job search and describes the kind of work involved as, in quotes, dances in adult entertainment establishments.
That is so bleak. I'm sorry, but why does it list it alongside sort of customer-facing roles? It doesn't. I mean, I suppose technically you are customer-facing. I'm
looking at the webpage now, and what's really worrying is it's the first thing it suggests. So it says, words to use in your online search: striptease artist, bingo assistant, hotel assistant, astrologer. That was another thing the article mentioned. Astrologer is there. Bath attendant. Baths attendant with an S. Bingo attendant, so that's listed, bingo attendant, bingo assistant, okay. Chair attendant, I've got no idea what that is. Coach attendant. Hall. Just hall.
Hall?
You could work as a hall, Rob.
Wait, because hire yourself out so people can come live in you, or at least...
Or host events, yeah.
Yeah, hold some sort of celebration.
Rob, we need to be clear about this. On the DWP's website, words to use in your online search when you're looking for a job, one of them is hall. Bingo attendant, so that's now triple times that's been mentioned. Hostel attendant. House.
Right.
Bath attendant, which has already been mentioned. Hut. Beach attendant. Lobby attendant. Room. Bath attendant. Room. So that's, you can this room twice now. Changing attendant.
Twice, yeah.
Well, hang on, wait. Room. That's 3 now. Dressing attendant. Room. That's 4 now. Rest attendant. Seat attendant. And clapper boy. What's a clapper boy, Rob?
I don't know. Is that something to do with the film industry? Maybe I have no idea what a clapper boy is.
It sounds like something from Victorian England.
It does, yeah.
Universal credit claimants are required to actively look for work, and in many cases are expected to spend 35 hours a week doing so. If job centre staff believe they are not doing enough to find a job, so if you're not looking for a job 35 hours a week, Rob, you can have your benefits docked. Daphne Hall, Vice Chair of the National Association of Welfare Rights Advisors and an editor at RightsNet, where the page was first spotted, told HuffPost, "We think it's completely inappropriate that the government should be pushing people towards these jobs, which could lead to a possible link to the sex industry, given all the evidence that's been put to the DWP Select Committee." Hall said that the Work You Could Do online tool is to help job centre staff advise benefit claimants on what kind of jobs to look for. Lap dancing and striptease adverts have been banned from the main DWP Find a Job websites, so basically, why are they here? A DWP spokesman agreed, Rob, that the content was inappropriate, thank God. In a statement, they said, "This is inappropriate, we'll immediately review this to determine why it's mistakenly listed. It's not the type of employment our work coaches help people into. And since 2010, more than 75% of all new jobs created are high-skilled and full-time." Of course they are, Rob.
Can I ask, it did say astrologer, right?
Huh?
It said astrologer. Is that, did I hear you correctly?
Yeah. That was there, and they haven't mentioned that. Now,
do you not need a qualification for that?
To be no, not an astronomer, Rob. An astrologer, somebody who reads your fortune based on the stars.
Oh, like Russell Grant,
Mystic Meg, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So the problem was apparently caused, Rob, by the DWP web pages being automatically filled with data from the Office for National Statistics. I don't buy that. I think what's happened is that somebody working for this dystopian entity, which is the DWP, was so sick of it, the daily grind, the bleakness, that they decided to put. Do you see what I mean? It's almost like sabotage. They put this in. I think somebody has put this in.
Do you think we're going to start to see some really, really imaginative job roles like Lion Tamer or Ice Cream Man?
Yeah, exactly. And just to give you a flavour, comments, Bill Smith says, as striptease artists exist and get paid, why is this even a story? Now, I don't know what we do with people like him, Rob. I don't know what we do with people like him.
I'm assuming he's being ironic.
I'm not sure he is. Neil Runkle says, yet another Tory success story.
Nice.
And Tim Donovan simply says, working for the DWP must be a bundle of laughs. But there were only those few comments. I mean, there were basically 5 comments, so that's how exercised the British public were by that story. I mean, we just don't care anymore.
No, I think in this day and age, a striptease worker is a perfectly fine job role, along with apparently a hut attendant and whatever the hell a fucking clapper boy does.
Would you like another peek into dystopian Britain, Rob? In the judiciary?
Yeah, go on, why not?
This is from the traitorous Guardian, absolutely traitorous Guardian, by Robert Booth, who is the social affairs correspondent. Rob, this story, whichever way you look at it, is a classic. But okay. Unbelievable this could occur. Well, maybe it isn't. Headline: Judge rejected asylum seeker who did not have gay demeanour, in quotes.
So what?
It will make sense in a second. A UK immigration judge rejected the asylum claim of a man from a country where homosexuality is illegal, in part because he did not have a gay demeanour, a lawyer has revealed.
Right, so let me get this right. So he was applying for asylum based on the fact that he would be persecuted if he returned to his home country because he was gay. And so this judge, apparently based on nothing purely than his appearance, rejected the claim.
Pretty much. The judge in the first-tier immigration tribunal in London said he did not accept, Rob, that the man applying to stay in the UK was gay. And he contrasted his appearance with that of a witness who wore lipstick and had an effeminate manner, who the judge did accept was gay.
Oh my God.
So this guy's come along, right, brought a friend. And the judge has said, well, look, I believe he's clearly gay. He's wearing lipstick and has an effeminate manner. But you do not, therefore you are not gay. Completely sort of not really understanding the point that you can be gay and have all kinds of different manner, just like you can be straight and have all kinds of different manner. Like you,
Absolutely.
This is unbelievable, Rob.
Absolutely, we know. I mean, there are people in this country who like to dress up in clothes of the opposite sex, not because just because it gives them confidence or that's how they identify. It doesn't indicate their sexual preference.
Can I just say, Robert, that is a very fetching blouse you're wearing.
Thank you, Alex. I chose it especially for you.
The details of the written determination effectively suggesting the asylum seeker was not effeminate enough to be gay have been revealed by the claimant's barrister, Rehana Popel, who described the comments as like something from the 16th century. She said the judge was guilty of a stereotype embedded in prejudice and that such attitudes were not unique in the immigration courts. The determination has not been published and the judge has not been named as the tribunal is not a court of record. Popel said the judge wrote of the claimant, "I have seen his demeanour," before comparing it to that of another witness about whose homosexuality he had no doubt. And this is what the judge said: not just that he wore lipstick and had an effeminate way of looking around the room and speaking, but he is also a member of the gay community organisation.
Sorry, he had an effeminate way of looking around the room? What does that mean?
This judge is saying in order to qualify as gay, you're number one, you have to be member of a gay organisation. You have to be signed up to the union, Rob. And
right,
two,
okay.
You need to dress a certain way, carry yourself a certain way, and look around in a certain way.
But what does that mean? How do you look at someone in an effeminate way? What does that mean?
But this judge is basing his idea on what a homosexuality would appear like to him, based on crude stereotypes he may have seen in the media, right? Incredible, you know.
He's basically done Carry On film from the 70s.
Yes. Popel said her client feared for his safety if he were forced to return to his home country, and that his older male partner's own asylum claim in front of another immigration judge involved making a very similar case and was successful a month earlier. In his determination, the judge referred to the age difference between them and said, "I understand..." Can you believe the judge said this, Rob? "I understand..." This is a quote. "I understand that on the gay scene, younger men are highly valued."
Just out of interest, does it give any indication as to the age of this judge?
Nope, but I think we can draw our own conclusions. The man appealed against the judge's assessment of his demeanour to a higher court, where it's defended by a representative of the Home Office, Popel said. That tribunal said last week that the first judge had been wrong and sent the case back to start afresh. Thank God. There have been other instances, Rob, where asylum tribunal judges have not accepted that previously married women can be lesbians, she claimed. Asked to comment, the Home Office said the appeals process and judges' decisions were independent of government. Blah. So, I mean, with each story we read, I feel, at what point are the EU going to say to us, look, actually, we don't want a deal. Fuck your money. Fuck you. See you later. Wouldn't that be brilliant? If we turn around and said, actually, no, we'd like to remain, and they said, we've really had second thoughts about this.
Yeah, and just said, and also given it further consideration, we've closed the Channel Tunnel and we've also closed all our borders. You can deal with it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Rob, my last story is very short. I felt like I had to mention it. It's from the New Shopper by Liam McInnery. I mean, it's not particularly fun. I mean, there is a reason I'm reading this, and I will get onto it. The headline is "Clown Waving Knife Chases Kids in Nottingham, Mum Warns."
Oh my, is this back?
Terrified kids, Rob, screamed for their parents after a fully grown man dressed as a clown ran at them with a knife. Zoe Woodward said her kids, Frankie, 8, and Stephen, 6, were chased by an, in quotes, fully grown man with a knife while playing in a garden. The frightening ordeal happened on Sunday, August the 18th, at around 6 p.m. on Sennen Walk in Nottingham. Zoe was at a friend's house when her kids rushed inside screaming. Becky, an adult, walked in, this is a quote, locked the doors and said to us there's a clown on the corner of the green, staring at the children and waving a knife before it ran towards them. Zoe said she looked out the window and saw a glimpse of fake red hair, but said the suspect was walking away and she didn't want to approach someone with a knife. Is she sure it wasn't Donald Trump? She added that Frankie,
wow.
She added that Frankie, her son, who has special needs, has always been scared of clowns. He was screaming, terrified. My children are even more scared to go outside, and my 8-year-old is scared to leave the house. My friend and her daughter walked us home, and to be honest, I'm scared as well. Etc. In 2016, a series of clown sightings were reported in Britain after the craze first made the news in America. As you'll remember, Rob, as we covered them at this time, didn't we? Now, my question is, Rob, given some of the things we've covered recently and some of the sort of idle speculation we ventured into, is this Ronald McDonald, Rob? We've said he doesn't have a role in the organisation anymore, so presumably he just wanders the streets, 6-pack of Stella, or probably something worse, Diamond White.
Yep.
And what else does he have to do? I mean, he's a clown down on his luck, Rob.
Are we thinking that, obviously, because I think he's obviously, up until the point where he was dismissed by the company, he was obviously living on a fast food diet, and so he's picking on unsuspecting children with their Happy Meals and going up to them, give us your toy and also your meal.
Yeah,
because obviously he can get money for the toy and also then has a meal as well.
And do you think he lives in a really squalid sort of bedsit with the Hamburglar?
I just think they live in a bin. Both of them, just cuddling for warmth on those dark, cold nights, and in the summer just lazing, completely naked, covered by nothing more than a bin bag.
Okay, Rob, you got some stories for us there.
Yeah, now, just before we start, I've just actually looked up what the definition of a clapper boy is. And apparently, it's a member of the motion picture crew who holds the clapper boards. Who works the clapper boards and holds up the slate up to be photographed. So basically,
you're
someone
absolutely
who
right, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's not really much to do, is it?
No, but given the other jobs it was lumped in with, I think the idea is it's very low skilled.
But Rob, how is this a job? You're not going to go in at 9, are you? Hang around till 5 and just clap the board once. I mean, it must entail other things. Or does it just involve hours of practice? I
think clapper boy is also usually lumped in with, making tea and getting the cast and crew lunches but if
sexual
you work your way
favours
up,
for the director, that kind of thing.
Yeah. If you work your way up, you can be operating the doors in no time.
The doors?
Yeah.
I wonder, I would have thought a clapper boy, because look at the wrist action. I'm doing it for you now, Rob, of the clap thing. I think a clapper boy, if you've got a long history of masturbation, that job is meant for you. You'd have that wrist action, that strong wrist.
I'm not sure what your technique is, but it's very different to mine.
Yeah. Well, it's very, it's unique to us all, Rob. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever gets you off, Alex. Anyway. So, this is a local news story, I'm delighted to say, because the other two have come from national papers. So, this is from, and it's been a while, Alex, the Gloucestershire Live website.
The Citizen!
There we go.
Rob, before we continue, there's a box behind you which I assume you use for soundproofing, and all I can see is 120 centimetres /49. Is that a TV box?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Right, okay. It was intriguing me and I wanted to know.
No, yeah, it is, yeah.
I thought it might be your height chart,
No, that's my penis gauge.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's Rob's height chart. He's only 49 inches tall.
Alex, there's no point. Why do you do this? People don't need to see behind the curtain.
You're right.
They're quite happy believing I'm about 6'5".
Yep.
I realise that they've seen pictures of me. Anyway, right. So, this is from the 27th of August. So, what's the date today? 28th? 29th? I can't remember.
29th.
29th. So, 2 days ago. The journalist is Rob Jenkins, who is the chief Cheltenham reporter. So, reports on all things Cheltenham.
The chief children reporter?
No, Cheltenham.
I was going to say. It sounds a bit weird.
So, headline. And again, this is a classic local news story. Pregnant hedgehog found completely stuck in hole in fence.
Oh, God. I'm surprised this didn't make the national news, really.
I mean, it might have made the Mirror. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's a feel-good story we all need right now, Rob.
Absolutely, Alex. Yeah. I mean, you started with the dystopian toys. Now we need some positive news because there's been a lot of darkness. This pregnant hedgehog got herself in a right pickle when she tried to get through a hole in a fence in Cheltenham.
Can I just pick you up on something? How do they know the hedgehog was a she?
Well, she's pregnant.
No, I was kidding.
Oh. Presumably not realising that her mother's bee stateness had increased her size so much, she went through a gap in the garden of St Mark's resident Pam Clutterbuck and became stuck. I do like the name Clutterbuck. I don't know why.
I don't understand. How did this pregnant hedgehog get in the hole in the first place if it was too big to get in the hole? Do you see what I mean?
Well, I think it was one of those things where it got its head through and then, unfortunately, as it tried to make its way through the hole and then got lodged.
We've all been there, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. So luckily for her, i.e. the hedgehog, Pam found her and after cutting her free with some loopers, took her to the Vale Wildlife Hospital and Rehabilitation Centre, Beckford, near Tewkesbury, because she could not get through to the RSPCA. I mean, we've all been there.
How many... what is going on there? It's just one person, isn't it, on a switchboard?
Oh, yeah.
They've gone out basically to Greg's and nobody could get through. Rob, so are you telling me there's a hedgehog hospital?
Well, it says the Vale Wildlife Hospital and Rehabilitation Centre. It doesn't.
I've never, when driving around, ever seen a wildlife hospital. Have you?
No. I mean, there is famous Miss Tiddywinkle's, which is
I know, Miss Tiddywinkle's farm. I know, because we used to, when I was a kid, we'd holiday down in Devon for about 4 years in a row, same place, and everywhere, Miss Tiddywinkle's farm, we would pass. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Pam said she was shocked by the discovery and added, "We put her in a tub with a straw and rushed to the Vale Wildlife Hospital. She was barely breathing on the 20-minute journey."
What's the straw for?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Is it so it could get air?
I like to think that she was giving the hedgehog rescue breaths and prepared to administer CPR if necessary.
Right. Yeah.
But Pam said the good news was that Hetty, as she had named her, was found to be fit and healthy. She said it was probably her first pregnancy, which may explain why she got stuck in the fence, but she now probably normally slips through without problem.
How did she know the hedgehog was fat? How did she know the hedgehog was pregnant and not just fat? Could she feel the little hedgehog kicking through the belly, or?
I don't know, actually. Yeah.
This woman seems to know a little bit too much about hedgehogs for my liking. And the other question is, who impregnated the hedgehog, of course?
Of course, yeah.
I think it was Jacob Rees-Mogg. And I'm not retracting that.
No, and do you know what? I stand by that. I can believe that he would have done that. He seems like the type. Can I just say, by the way, I was listening to a podcast before we started recording, and someone was in the same class as Jacob Rees-Mogg at Eton.
Oh, God.
And
one of the people on the podcast?
Yeah.
Who was it? Is it anybody I know?
No, he was a vicar, actually. He was a vicar that the parents Eton on a scholarship by the great name of Vicar Ravi Holy, which is a great name for a vicar.
Unbelievable. It was meant to be.
But he was saying that in the dorm room, where most of the boys had pictures of like Bob Marley and their favourite musicians and the old picture of Samantha Fox, Rees-Mogg had... Can I guess
what Rees-Mogg had? Can I guess?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Queen Victoria.
Well, the Queen was one of them, yeah.
He had the Queen.
Not just the Queen.
Were the other posters of famous people?
Yes.
So the Queen.
So think of statesman. Female statesman.
Female. Thatcher. Oh my God. Thatcher, the Queen. So lots of women, because he's a real mummy's boy. Did he have any men there?
There was one man, yep.
Well, I don't think it was Churchill. That's
no, not a politician.
Somebody historical.
It was the Pope.
Fucking hell. The Pope. So basically, everything in Jacob Rees-Mogg's mind, that is his mind. It's the Queen, Margaret Thatcher, and the Pope at that time. Because I don't think he'd have much truck with the current Pope, Rob.
No. So you can imagine. I don't know why. It reminds me of Rimmer when he's in boarding school, where he's getting bullied by the boys.
Jacob Rees-Mogg is Arnold Rimmer.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is no, you've just hit upon something there. I think there's a sketch there. The Red Dwarf crew, and they're replaced by different people. So you'd have Jacob Rees-Mogg would be Rimmer.
Yep.
But I think Boris Johnson would be Lister. Both of them are lazy, disorganised as shit.
I imagine Michael Gove as Crichton. They're quite robotic, completely soulless.
Okay. And now we need to think of the cat.
We're looking at something who is unbelievably vain. Oh, it's Ian Duncan Smith. How did I not get that?
There we go. The new Blue Dwarf, maybe.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything just epitomises him more than a 10-year-old in a dorm room with those with those. Where did he even find a poster of the fucking Pope? Anyway.
What the sad. What worries me, Rob, is that those other young boys, when alone in their dorm rooms, would have looked at their pictures of Samantha Fox and maybe done a bit of clapper boy action.
Yeah.
So now you've got to think what Rees-Mogg was doing in his room to pictures of Margaret Thatcher, the Queen, and the Pope. I just want you to have an image, Rob, of.
I do not want to.
This man's idea of a Razmag was like one of those commemorative royal magazines.
It wouldn't be that. It would be the Tory Party Manifesto.
No, I think it would be Queen Elizabeth's coronation special.
Oh my God.
When he reaches that point of climax, he just goes, "Oh, Your Majesty."
See, I think he's gone into more detail. I reckon he took with him to eating a commemorative plate because it's wiped clean.
Absolutely. Anyway, we were talking about him inseminating a hedgehog.
Right. So Pam is not sure whether Hetty has had her babies, but she said she seems happy living in the area. So basically, the hedgehog's been moved back to her garden, so she's happy living in the area. She has set up behind her fence. And she's also had a message to other animal lovers saying she wanted them to cut small holes in their fences so hedgehogs could move from garden to garden.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, that's the end of that story. Now, my second story is unfortunately from the bastion of all evil, the Daily Mirror, Daily Mail. Fuck.
Yeah, not the Mirror. Yeah, come on, Rob. I mean, the Mirror's got its flaws, but it's not the Daily Mail.
No,
Daily Mail, bastion of all evil. Yes.
And this it goes back a bit. I heard this on a podcast as well, but I thought I wanted to feature it. Again, it's more comical and it is a bit dated. So it's from May 2016.
Sorry. How did you come across this story from 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago?
I was into a podcast that mentioned it. They made reference to it and I had to look it up. So, as I said, it is 3 years old. Anyway, the perfect prom date. Teen who couldn't find date to his high school dance takes his family cat instead and even gets her a pink dress to match his bow tie.
Right, I mean, there are lots of pussy jokes, but I'm not going to make them. Fine.
So getting a prom date can be a tough time for many guys. So
this sounds like the kind of thing Jacob Rees-Mogg would have done.
Well, yeah. One of his vultures, you mean?
Does he have vultures?
No, but let's face it, it's a possibility. I couldn't think of any other Victorian-style pets. I don't know, maybe a rat. Actually, a rat might be quite fitting.
Why does Jacob... Sorry to return to this, but why does Jacob Rees-Mogg look like... Why has he styled his side parting on Hitler's?
I mean, why is he...
He looks incredibly Third Reich, Rob.
But Alex, it's not just that.
But do you agree with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
He looks like one of the doctors that did their bidding. That's what he looks like. I'm not saying anything. I just want to be clear. I'm not calling Jacob Rees-Mogg a Nazi, but I'm just saying he does have that sort of. He looks kind of fascist in his appearance, and I don't understand why.
Also, I just wonder whether his style's ever changed because I've never seen pictures of him as a young man, but I can't imagine his dress
I have,
sense.
and he looked the same.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he does, and in terms of the hairstyle, it's the kind of hairstyle you have as a child because you didn't know any better. You just slap a load of grease on your hair, then just slick it back.
Yeah,
but then I also worry about his children. I mean, because I can imagine.
I want you to imagine for a second Jacob Rees-Mogg making love to his wife. I want you to imagine that and imagine what that would possibly look like, considering his demeanour. I think it would be eyes closed. It would be very perfunctory. Or maybe he slaps a poster of the Queen on her face.
That seems almost perverted, actually.
No, I think Margaret Thatcher.
Probably Thatcher. But also, I don't think it's eyes closed. I think that, as you rightly say, it'd be perfunctory. It would be routine. Because obviously, he's a Catholic, so it'll be purely about procreation. Yeah.
So they've only done it because he has got a lot of kids, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, he's not allowed to use condoms, that's why. But I can imagine that they would talk about current affairs. It would purely be conversational during sex. There would be no sort of heightened emotional tension.
Do you think he uses parliamentary language sort of flirtatiously when he gives her the indication that he wants to become amorous? Do you think he says to her things like, "I'd really love to prorogue your parliament"? Things like that.
Can I take you at the back benches? That kind of thing.
I liked my "Can I prorogue your parliament" better.
Yeah, that was very good
actually.
Too. Yeah, so I should have given that more credence.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Broken down. I mean, it's quite an enduring image because I can imagine as well. He's I don't know. I imagine that he's the man. I mean, we know he's obviously very, very sleek and very slender, but I can imagine there's not a single hair on his entire body apart from his head and eyebrows. He's I can imagine he's like the equivalent of a 12-year-old boy when he's naked.
I absolutely agree. Anyway, look, Rob, this is becoming a bit fetishistic, actually, when we're talking about Jacob Rees-Mogg. I'm becoming disturbed by us now.
Okay, I'll go back to the man dating his cat. Not dating.
Yeah, go back to the man dating his cat, yeah.
So getting a date for a prom can be a tough time for many guys. So it's always good to have a backup plan in time for the big day.
A cat that can't consent.
Good point. A young man named Sam Steingard, whose sister Caroline, 20, of Washington, D.C., shared her story online. Shared her story? Yeah. Was one such unlucky student, but luckily he had the perfect backup date.
The perfect backup date.
Yeah, that was a joke from the title.
Oh, right.
The photo posted on Iger, which is now gaining 18-year-old Sam internet fame, comes with a simple title, "My brother took our cat to the prom." And they said there were some lovely pictures of him in his suit carrying the cat. The cat.
Does the cat look happy?
I mean, it's very different. To be honest, actually, in the first photo, the cat looks to be looking up at him longingly.
Is the cat wearing an outfit?
Yeah, well, we'll come on to that.
Please don't do that,
no,
Rob.
No, not after what we've been talking about. The caption below the image reads, "He couldn't find a date." The hilarious photo, apparently taken last year by his father, Brian Steingard, shows Sam, dapper in a tux and a bow tie, holding up the family cat, Ruby. The fluffy grey-white kitten is sporting a silky pink dress covered in colourful embroidery to match Sam's tie. Beyond the fact that the idea is still adorable, Ruby's sweet expression looking up at him longingly...
Rob, stop.
What?
This kid would have been kicked to... What would have happened to this kid at the prom? Everybody else turns up with a date and he turns up with a cat. Did his parents really think this is the way forward? This is going to scar him for life.
I mean, let's face it.
What do you think they're going to call him?
Pussy?
Yes.
I mean, there's a good possibility this photo was mocked up prior to the prom. He never had any intention of taking the cat with him.
Well, they just went straight to the bedroom.
I'm just concerned there was no prom. He was just looking for an excuse to date the cat.
yeah, maybe that, exactly.
He just concocted this whole story and his parents felt sorry for him and finally, yes, I've got my chance.
The sad thing is, that evening, somebody was probably ringing the RSPCA, but they didn't pick up.
Too busy getting a Kit Kat. After posting the photo on Iger, it spread quickly, being viewed more than 100,000 times in one single day. It also received hundreds of comments, many of which are written by people simply surprised that such a clever guy didn't manage to get a date. How do they know he's clever? And then someone wrote, "First of all, your brother's cute. Your brother's cute AF, as fuck. And the girls at the school must be nuts blind both," wrote one viewer. "Second, your cat loves him. Hope they had fun." Are you like that? I feel like I'm losing you.
You are a bit.
Well, let's end that there. I mean, it's a nice story. And just to say, if anyone is interested in the cat, she now has her own Instagram page, so you can go there, see her in a variety of outfits, and maybe ask her out on a date.
Is that a joke? That she has
no,
an
no,
Instagram
she has
page?
her own. No, she has her own. Let me bring the page up. So if anyone wants to go to Instagram and follow her, it's it's at Ruby the Pretty Kitty. She has 5,683 followers. I mean, she is a very pretty cat. Actually, I have to say, very very seductive pictures.
Yeah, the way you're looking at your computer, we need to just move on.
Oh, that's a bit gruesome. There's a picture of her lying next to what? I don't know whether that squirrel's dead. Is it dead? I think it's dead. Why would you post a picture of your cat next to a dead squirrel? That's weird. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, Rob, it is time, as always, for our listener story of the week. And I think you told me, didn't you, off air, this week it's from Khyber.
Yes, that's right. So this week, the story is from The Sun, submitted by Khyber, from the 2nd of August, and the story is by Cara Godfrey. So, the headline: Brit tourists shocked to find Nazi souvenirs and Hitler wine on sale in Italian holiday resort.
Nazi memorabilia?
Yes.
Right, in Italy.
In Italy.
And she found this now, not back in like the 30s.
No, this story was from earlier this month.
Now, didn't Italy sided with the Nazis, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. So during the Second World War, it was Hitler had a pact with Mussolini.
Yeah, of course. Now, all right. So maybe there's a hankering after this golden era that these sort of locals perceive that it is. I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, that's a long time ago.
They've not let it go, Rob.
No. I mean, I know that the bulk of mainstream Europe has moved to the right, but I didn't think things had got this bad.
But it's strange we're talking about this, Rob, considering what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I didn't want to say too much then, but well, we always know on this podcast things tend to dovetail quite nicely.
They do. Okay. I'm intrigued. Let's hear this.
So a British tourist was left stunned after finding souvenirs adorned with Hitler's face, as well as Nazi slogans during a holiday in Italy.
Bloody hell.
I know. Angela Thompson spotted mugs featuring the fascist symbols at a local supermarket. She tweeted, "What the fuck? Just arrived in Italy on holiday, and I know fascism was on the rise here, but still shocked to see these in the local supermarket."
So what kind of things were they? Were they kind of mugs with Hitler's face on them? What kind of things?
Yeah, so there's two very nice. There's one with a colour picture of Hitler next to the Iron Cross, with the name Hitler across it. Then we have another one which is a black and white photo. So it's not just one mug, by the way. There's a variety. So there's one giving a Nazi salute, again with the name of Hitler.
And these things have a kind of slogans on them, they like "Make Hitler Great Again," that kind of thing.
Well, yeah. The trouble is, I don't think you're far from the truth.
Rob, are you sure these are not pictures of Jacob Rees-Mogg and somebody's got confused?
I mean, if you take the moustache away...
Yeah, well, let's not go there. As I said, I wasn't any joke about that earlier. But the point is, in a souvenir shop...
Yeah.
Where in Italy is this? This can't be Rome or somewhere like that.
Well, it's in Rimini, which is on the east coast. It's a couple of miles away, but I'm looking at a small map. But I think the nearest big town is Bologna. Right. So, I mean, and like I said, it's not just mugs. There's quite a few bottles of wine featuring different. So there's a bottle of wine called Sieg Heil.
Rob, that's disgusting.
Yeah. And various other slogans. I'm trying to find if there's any other.
So here's a question, Rob. If you came back to the UK and your luggage was searched,
yeah,
and they saw that you had these bits of memorabilia that you bought from this place in Italy, what would happen? I think that's a good question, because presumably I wouldn't be allowed to board a plane if I had a swastika, the Nazi swastika anyway, tattooed into my forehead. I don't think they'd allow that. But would they allow you to have, because would it come under the sort of hate speech? I don't know, no, because you're not sort of I don't know, but are you? I think it's an interesting question.
I mean, so we do come on to this later on. It is featured because there's a discussion with the town mayor as to whether this shopkeeper is allowed to sell this. But
okay,
we'll continue with the story. So pictures of Hitler along with the fascist symbols were emblazoned on the mugs, which cost €5.90 or £5.41 in pound sterling. She also shared images of bottles of wine with Hitler's face for €10.50 in the same store, while other social media users share their own images of tasteless souvenirs. Twitter users call it... there isn't any... I can't see if there's any others on there. No, she's just got her images on here. Twitter's users called it disgusting and sick that they were on sale.
Can I just say, what kind of thing... just to go... I'm just wondering what else do you think would constitute a sort of tasteless souvenir? I'm sort of thinking if you were sort of in sort of the Middle East area and you kind of bought a sort of a souvenir King Herod crib, that to me would be tasteless.
Yeah. Maybe
do you know what I mean?
A souvenir or maybe a crucifixion kit for kids.
Whoa. Okay,
so,
yeah. You and me can really come up with some very bad taste things. We should probably leave it there. A crucifixion playset for kids could be the episode title. That is quite an extraordinary idea, Rob.
I'd just like to say, if anyone does want to try and market that, I'd be very interested to discuss my ideas, and I would be interested in maybe a 40% share, so you could have the lion share of the profits.
Yeah, Mattel, if you're listening, get onto it.
So the owner of the store selling the products told the paper La Repubblica that it was just business.
What? What business? Who wants to buy these things? I'm confused.
He explained that he's been selling many of the bottles and mugs across Italy for the last 30 years without being told to stop.
What is wrong with people? This is what I mean, Rob. It never went away. This is the thing. This is a mistake so many people made. It never went away.
Yeah, I completely agree, and people don't realise this. And as he said, he added, as people keep buying them, he keeps selling them. So,
supply and demand.
Unfortunately, yeah, it appears there is a market for this.
Yeah, well, quite clearly.
In Germany, it is against the law to feature Nazi symbols, swastikas, or Hitler in public or for sale.
Ah, that's what I thought, and I'd imagine that's the case here as well.
In Italy, no such law exists.
Right. What is it? Okay, Italy. Come on, Italy.
So, Rimini Mayor Andrea Ganassi, I think, said that his hands were tied in blocking the sale of items containing the Nazi symbol. The fact that he told the Times of Israel that despite reports of such items as these in Italy were common, there was nothing they could do as a law banning it had failed to be implemented. It isn't against the law to sell Nazi memorabilia or items with Nazi symbols on them in the UK.
Can I just make a suggestion? And I don't know. I know there's lots of different points of view on this. One of the things that always gives me a real annoyance and a bugbear is when people say, right, I'm boycotting Israeli goods because I don't agree with how the Israeli government is treating Palestine. And my problem with that is that it's very selectively targeting Israel and saying, I'm going to boycott your goods, and failing to kind of notice the other things that go on around the world. Like, so you'll still buy British goods even though we've been involved in a pretty ropey war in Yemen recently and they're still supplying. We'll do that, but we'll boycott Israeli goods. It's completely hypocritical. But I would suggest that maybe Israel should boycott Italian goods until Italy gets its act together and say, no, do you know what? You can't sell mugs with Hitler on it. How about that for an idea?
If that's the case, they shouldn't just be boycotting Italy. Other locations in Europe have also been spotted bearing the fascist leader.
Can I guess where? Hungary.
Oh, very close. Bulgaria.
Ah, Bulgaria, okay. Sorry, Hungary. I'm really sorry. I have been to Hungary. It's a lovely country, so...
in 2017, mugs and T-shirts with Hitler's face on were being sold in a popular holiday resort in Bulgaria, leading to an investigation by authorities. And there's one more place.
Can I guess where? Margate.
Very close.
What? So, France?
No. Right country first time.
What, in our country?
Yep.
Fucking hell. Okay, give me you know my geography of the UK isn't great. Give me a general ballpark area.
You're sitting in the greater area of it.
In London? Where about? Okay, it had to be either East London somewhere.
It doesn't give you any more information than a shop in London was closed down after T-shirts promoting Hitler were spotted on sale.
Fucking
Actually,
hell.
There's a link. What am I talking about? There's a link to a story. Hang on a second. So where was it? Oh my god! Apparently, there was also T-shirts featuring Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, and campaigners called for a ban after the Sun investigation found 5 stores in Piccadilly Circus, Whitehall, and Oxford Street peddling the sick merchandise.
Fuck it. Whitehall, Oxford Street, and Piccadilly Circus.
See, the trouble is, the the T-shirt that I've seen, T-shirts that's featured in the story, I've seen on sale, so I know which one they're talking about, which is quite sad. And there's a, I mean, that's brilliant. I think that's quite entertaining. So there's a T-shirt called The Killers, obviously featuring the popular rock band, and it has Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, Hitler, and what I believe is George Bush. Can I say
that is inappropriate. Look, whatever you thought of George Bush, that's inappropriate. But to have Hitler, you can't make light. There's a lot of things you can make light of. You can't make light of what the Germans did in that way, and then make money off of the T-shirts. Sorry, that is morally moribund, I would say. Well, Rob, on that rather depressing note, this has been a rather depressing podcast in many ways. We will lighten it up in a minute, one hopes. That brings this episode of LA Podcast to a close, and we look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be episode 286, Rob, as we move ever more forward like... Rob? Why can I not remember the stories that we've just had? What was your first story, which I loved?
Hedgehog.
What was the second story?
Cat prom. Cat going to prom.
We move ever more forward like Jacob Rees-Mogg, tired of masturbating over pictures of Margaret Thatcher and the Queen, and possibly... No, I don't want to include him. It's not fair. Goes out in search of a hedgehog for pleasure. God. Just like that. Sorry, Jacob. You know, we're just joking. We move ever more forward.
He's not listening.
To our next episode, which will be 286, Rob. And of course, we can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. From there, you can download all of our previous episodes. And there is a donate button in the top right-hand corner should you wish to donate us. I mean, look, we run for free, right? We provide these episodes for free, but of course, it does cost us to actually host this podcast, to run it, the equipment we need, our time, all the rest of it, and it would be great to have support from listeners if you choose to give it, of course. And it's completely optional. This will always be free, don't worry. But if you'd like to support us with a tip, you can do it via PayPal or a rolling monthly donation. Even if it was £1, it could be whatever you decide. We would always appreciate it. But what we also appreciate are you reviewing it on your podcast app, on iTunes, whatever, leaving a review, subscribing, hit subscribe, that really helps us, and all the rest of that stuff. And just spread the word if you can. And we are on Twitter at LA Podcast, Facebook at facebook.com/LA Podcast. And if you, like Kaiba, want to submit us a story, you can send it to lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. Right, Rob, the tradition that we've been following recently is that this podcast is called Local Anesthetic Podcast. We've abbreviated it to LA Podcast, but its full name is Local Anesthetic. And anesthetic is a word that in English, the British spelling is a tricky one. And we like to spell it, don't we, Rob, phonetically? And we do so each week according to a theme. What was our theme last week, Rob?
So
things you'd find in the supermarket. It was a bit too broad for my liking, Rob. So, what's it going to be this week? Can you think of anything related to what we've been talking about? We can't have dictators. I mean, it's just not. No, we can't.
I don't think we've managed that.
What about members of the Tory part government? I quite like that.
No, we've done this before, Alex, and it didn't go well.
No, I would be able to do it now, I think. But okay. What do you think then? Something that has a humorous, but you're right, it's not very humorous.
No. Okay. Things that are associated with the Christmas.
Sorry. Why? If we're not at Christmas, Rob, it's August. For the love of God, I don't want to start thinking about Christmas.
Alex, summer is over. Christmas is coming.
But we're going to do that. Can't we have things associated with autumn at the very least?
Fine. Let's do that.
Now, that is very obscure, though. Okay, things associated with autumn, otherwise known as, in America, you guys call it the fall. Because it's when the leaves fall. I'm assuming that's what it represents. Okay, shall I start off then? So I can't have autumn as my first one. Things associated with autumn. Oh my God. Okay, amber hues.
Ooh, fancy. Yeah. Nuts.
Are nuts associated with autumn, Rob?
Yeah, because it's the time of year when the leaves drop their trees, and also they might drop some nuts.
Leaves drop their trees?
And also the squirrels.
Sorry, the leaves drop their trees.
The trees drop their leaves.
And also their nuts.
No, hang on. The squirrels obviously have to source their nuts for the hibernation that they enter into.
It's terrible, but if you want to have nuts compared to my amber hues, you can. Okay. E is for
No, hang on. A-N-A.
Oh, I'm looking at the American spelling. Sorry,
Alex. How many times?
Fucking hell! This is hard. What we've given us.
This is why I chose Christmas. I think we're going to have to choose something else.
No, we're not, Rob. We're going to persist.
Okay.
Amber leaves.
I'm going to let that go. Fine. Okay. E. Well, who doesn't enjoy some delicious eggnog on the run-up to autumn?
Okay, fine. S is for things associated with autumn. Now, come on, Rob, let's think. What's associated with autumn? Oh, summer grief. Yeah? That's a thing I've just invented. Yeah. You're grieving for summer.
Well, as we know, obviously, that summer is done and the temperatures start to drop. We know that I'm conscious that I've done this before, but fuck it, why not? I'm concerned for the ladies out there, the women out there, and so we all know that when you go to work, you're going to have a good pair of tights.
What is it with you and tights? Right, so you're telling me that autumn is associated with beginning to wear tights again?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, in which case, then H is for hats. You start wearing hats because it gets a bit cooler.
But that's fine, Alex. Hats okay. E, well, everyone knows that a popular drink... a popular food around the autumn time is... You've
boxed yourself into a corner, eh?
No, not at all. Everyone loves a nice autumnal Eccles cake.
Eccles cakes are not associated with fucking autumn.
They do if you eat them on autumn.
T. Tender feelings. Everyone has tender feelings in autumn, Rob. That's when they really start to... People are bastards during the summer. They don't care about anybody or anything. They're hedonistic. But when autumn comes and you watch those leaves fall, you begin to reflect on the frailty of life and the sort of cycle of life, and you begin to have tender feelings. Up to you. I, for you.
I thought this was supposed to be uplifting. That just sounds, again, bleak. Anyway,
no,
right.
Nothing bleak about tenderness. Unless you're Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Well, true. As we know, the nights start to draw in, and as you consider putting the heating on, why not just... ignite the fire instead.
Okay, I'm giving you that. So autumn is associated with igniting a fire. And C, well, I can't have crab meat again, that's for sure. C,
why
how long is this taken? And C, something autumnal beginning with C. Look, I wanted to go with chestnuts.
Conkers!
Oh. Conkers! And chestnuts.
Yeah, both. 2 for the price of 1.
All right, conkers. No, I mean conkers are autumn. If you could have a symbol for autumn, it'd be a conker.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
That word we just spelt out, if anybody forgotten, was anaesthetic. Can you remember what we said, Rob?
Yeah, A was for...
amber hues.
Amber hues. N was nuts. A was autumnal...
Amber leaves.
Amber leaves, so yeah, okay. E was...
eggnog.
Eggnog. S was... What was S?
I don't know. Summer grief.
Summer grief.
But now I'm going to say sunsets. Autumn is very associated with sunsets.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. T was tights. H was hat. E was Eccles cake.
Not happy with that. T was...
what did you say T was? Oh, God.
Tender feelings.
Yeah.
I was igniting fires and C was for conkers.
Crab meat. Oh, right, yeah, conkers, yeah.
/ chestnuts. That's how you spell anaesthetic, and that's really useful when you're struggling to spell that word. Just think, what did Rob and Alex say was associated with autumn, and you were able to spell it easily. So once again, we've provided you with another helpful mnemonic, helping people spell anaesthetic, Rob, all around the world. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back in a week's time, as always. God bless.
And keep it local.